Can we talk about something really serious and scary? And I feel like maybe not scary, but it's like a deep, dark secret about remote work. And what I'm finding that clients and even people in my personal life are hesitant to talk about and admit is that remote work sometimes is giving symptoms of depression. And I'm talking about persistent sadness, feeling lonely, loss of interest, loss of concentration, loss of joy and motivation and doing things that you used to do. It's giving symptoms of depression. And I feel like people are afraid to admit this. And that could be for a number of reasons, right? So I want to acknowledge that people think that working from home. So why is this happening? And when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, right? You're home all day. There's no separation between work and home. You're in front of screens all day, not really interacting with much people. You may not go outside much because you may be stuck in front of the screen for hours and hours a day. So you're not getting in a lot of interaction. You might not be getting a lot of sunlight, natural sunlight. You might not be moving around, moving your body. So when these things happen, those symptoms can start to creep in. It makes a lot of sense when we think about it and we say it out loud, but why are folks not saying it out loud? So I've been pondering this, right? And I think part of it might have to do with us considering remote work a privilege, right? People think everybody wants to work from home. I don't know if that's true, but that's something that's frequently said, right? And you think that if you work from home, your life is peaches and cream, everything's easy, you get to do whatever you want, it makes your life easier. And there are a lot of benefits to being able to work from home, and I want to acknowledge that. But there can also be some downsides to it that have an impact on our physical and mental health. So people might be afraid to admit this. They don't want to break the facade of it. They don't want to seem ungrateful for something that's considered a privilege. They might feel embarrassed to admit that they're experiencing this because others aren't talking about it either. I don't know if they think that the man is going to come into their homes and snatch them out and say, aha, I knew that you should have been working in the office. This remote work stuff is over, if we're honest about it. But I want us to be able to be more honest and vulnerable about having these conversations so that we can get the help that we need if we're experiencing these things, so that we can make the most of working from home and make it work for our advantage and our mental health, right? So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to combat these things or prevent these things if you are somebody who works from home. So if you're someone who works from home and some of those symptoms that I mentioned are impacting you, here's some things that you can do to take care of your mental health while you're working remotely. You want to make sure that you are still moving around and getting some exercise, even if you happen to be sitting or in front of a screen all day. You also want to eat a healthy, balanced diet. It's easy to eat all our favorite foods or snacks if we're home and they're accessible all day, but we want to make sure we're eating balanced. And you also want to make sure that you get some sunlight. So whether that's opening up the blinds or making some time to go outside, get some fresh air and take a walk. You also need to be more intentional about finding community and making time for joy and making time to do the things that you enjoy, that bring you happiness, that keep you motivated. And not leave it up to chance just because you're working at home, because it's easier to get stuck in that kind of cycle routine of work and then take care of home because there's that lack of separation. So you need to be intentional about making time and space to go outside, to find community, and to do the things that you enjoy while you're working remotely. I hope this helps.